A very good evening to each and every one of you. Let's fight, folks. Happy to have you all here. Share the live. Smash that emoji button. It's a privilege for us to be with each and every one of you. It's a privilege to hold the seat, folks. Take what I'm telling you. It's truly a privilege. And I'm just happy that you guys are here with us. Because you all know without you all, we're looking thin. We are making a lot of sense. Guys, welcome to our broadcast. Put this over there. Good to have you all with us. We don't want any distractions tonight. You ain't gonna let you all try to distract me. Hold the focus. Happy to have you all on this, what is it, Tuesday? The 7th? Yep, we're entering the second week, folks. The second week of it. Pace and power. Grateful to have you lovely, peace-loving. I know you're all a bit noisy, me. Folks, welcome. Those of you who've come home, you're leaving. Welcome and goodbye. Stay with us for a little bit. We got a couple of things we want to throw at you. Give you a snapshot of what the day looked like. Good to have you, Gail and Yolanda. Wilton, Cheryl Sherod. Good to have all of you. I went to my born tongue today. I don't like what they're doing in Linden, folks. Good to have all of you on the live. Wherever you're joining us from, I don't know what they're doing in my born tongue, especially with the education system. And we're going to hear from some of the folks from that end. Welcome. Let me make sure I'm put together. Folks, if you don't make yourself happy in this life, ain't nobody going to do it for you, you know. Ain't nobody going to do it for you. We're fired up at our end, folks, and we're ready to go. We got too many things close by. Fired up at our end, and we are ready to go. What a difference a year makes. Irwin Don say there. Good to have you with us, Irwin and Sebastian Orilal. Good to have you. We got a link, my brother. Sebastian, we got a link. Put it back, that's for you. We got it. It's been too long. This is what, month 2? Sebastian Orilal, man from Region 6. Hard-working activist. You know, some of you all talk about activism. This man demonstrates it. When he said doing it, when he said going door to door, boots on the ground, you better believe it. Hard-working fella. Region 6. Looking forward to reconnecting with you, my brother. Looking forward to that. Good to have each and every one of you on the live. Guess what? It's Tuesday. It don't matter to me. Monday, Tuesday, it's just another day to fight. All my life I had to fight. Tuesday, Wednesday, they're telling us it's Tuesday, January. It's really glass. January the 7th. 1 week is gone. Y'all better pick up the pace. Come on, coalition leaders, parliamentary opposition parties. Come on. Please and thank you. Come on now. Couple of things on the card tonight, and then we're out to y'all here. Y'all want to come in to 590. I don't like what they're doing in Linden. Brothers and sisters, I'm telling you all, I don't like it. Loretta, Coral, Marcia, Naya, Melanie, Ahmad, Samad. Another ads in that name. Francine Cruz, Pinky, Savage, Karen. Ashley got some words of wisdom for y'all. January 6th, one day etched in the memory of the U.S. Folks, listen to me. If I was Kamala Harris, I see the whole thing rigged. Rig it. He rigged it. Troll him for the whole 4 years. You rig it. City Hall, folks, City Hall. You see them PP councillors? They're doing the most. And then right next door, Venezuela. There's a west, east, north, south. A westerly neighbor. Sometimes it comes to you like that. A westerly neighbor, they got a couple of things happening at their end. But as we begin tonight, folks, as we begin tonight, Well, we start with that protest. Let's stand some solidarity for the acting Chancellor of the Judiciary of Guyana and the acting Chief Justice. You all know what they're up to. You're up to no good. I know. You see, they be a PPP, they must give us, you got to stifle your conscience, but so much. You got to stifle your conscience, but so many things. Thank you, Adam. Today, folks continue to stand in solidarity outside the Court of Appeal for the eminent women, eminently qualified. Take a look. Take a listen.
The protest over the non-confirmation of the Chancellor and the Chief Justice continued for a second day today. Yesterday, the protest was staged outside the Guyana Court of Appeal. Today, the demonstrators protested outside the High Court. Leland Saul sees the need for an independent judiciary.
It's very important that we confirm the Chancellor and the Chief Justice if we want an independent judiciary. To keep these distinguished ladies in an acting position, in some way, I believe it is to control them. We need a substantive Chief Justice and a Chancellor, and therefore I demand of the government to confirm the persons in the appointment. They have been there for 7 years. The opposition leader, Mr. Orby North, he has clearly stated that he has no problem and they should be confirmed. And therefore, we here on this picket line, like many other Guyanese, we demand of the government to confirm the two distinguished ladies.
The Caribbean Court of Justice was critical of the non-confirmation of the two women. Saul said that he's uncertain why the government is refusing to confirm them.
I think it's the way the government is not interested in an independent judiciary. And that's very important for a democratic nation, that we have an independent judiciary. Apparently, the government would like to appoint someone or a person so they can control and so they can manipulate the judicial system. And that is very, very dangerous, and we should stand up against that.
He said that Guyana needs a judiciary that's free from political interference. He said that most of the systems that should be independent in Guyana are all headed by political appointees. Many of these are activists and lackeys of the PPP, he said.
You know, the public service is a perfect example, and we cannot allow the same thing to happen in the judiciary. Because, you know, the judiciary is about fairness, it's about justice, and we cannot allow political activists and impartial judges to dominate the judiciary. And sorry, partial judges, I should say.
Attorney at Law Darren Wade was also in the protest line. He holds the view that an independent judiciary is the bedrock of any democracy.
What Irfan Ali is doing by not confirming the Chancellor, Honorable Cummins, acting Chancellor, the Chief Justice, Justice George, acting Welcher, into the confirming the position of the opposition leader has given his consent for the confirmation. He's saying to them, rule in my favor. And if you can't rule in my favor, I will not confirm. That is what it is. The PPP wants to dictate the judiciary. That is clearly what they want to do. They are not concerned in democracy and justice. They are concerned with having judges that are prepared to rule in their favor.
He said that Guyana doesn't want a situation that prevails in other societies where people can't approach the courts for justice. City Councillor Clayton Hines reiterated the position that the two women are professionals.
They have distinguished themselves in terms of their performance. This action seemed to be bordering on common parlance and bad-mindedness. And according to the issue that I've read quite recently, it borders also on racism, because these are Black Guyanese who have performed exceptionally well over the years.
So the next step is for President Ali to set a date to confirm these judges, these two judges. And I think that the president knows what he has to do. So we're hoping that this protest that we're having, it will, the president is going to make that final decision that we're saying to him that he has no other choice but to confirm the acting chancellor and the acting chief justice. If the president decides that he's not going to confirm them, then the president must show this nation cause.
The second speaker was Adriana Thomas of Citizens Movement.
Yep. You heard it there. You heard it there from love that woman spoke last. All the other folks there. I love that woman who spoke last, because sometimes you gotta come off the social media and go on the ground. Well, we're on the ground in Linden today. We were in the beach yesterday. That's why you haven't seen us on the line at this end. But beach yesterday, Linden today, and the folks there holding it down. But if you're doing nothing, you're wicked. If you're doing nothing, you're wicked, you're wicked, you're wicked. If I was Kamala Harris, I'm going to go to some of the extremes Trump went to, try to change numbers and tell people to declare he won and all of that. I would have truly the whole 4 years. Yesterday, the United States of America certified Trump win. You remember he didn't want Pence certified that Biden win? And he wanted Pence, he wanted to procure Pence to tell a lie? I would have trolled he the whole 4 years. See, rigged, fraudulent president. Just like these boys here. Fraudulent. It was a symbolic moment for the U.S. The U.S. accustomed to peaceful transition of power. And with Trump looking a little like a third world country here. Third world country. And you know who helped to certify it? This is how you show magnanimity. This is how you show you. When they go low, you go high. Vice president who ran against him and lost. And we got some clowns here saying, oh, I ain't talking to Aubrey. Oh, I ain't talking to this buddy. Y'all don't want to build this country. That is why the education system in Region 10 is the way it is. That is why, because we got this myopic view of things. Come on. Let me live differently in 2025, no man. Together, we will move this country forward. Together, y'all keep your blinders on, Keep going down the road like that. So kudos to the Americans once again showing us how you do it. Even though Trump was a sore loser, listen to him. He can start talking just about the biggest crowd, biggest inauguration, and all of that. It's all about the numbers, eh? It's all about the numbers. So that's some of what we're following. We need to hasten on. We need to hasten on a little bit. So that's some of what we're following, folks. Happening at that end, right next door. You don't got to go far for trouble. Trouble sometimes comes and reaches you where you are. You don't have to go far. Bantu, is it you? You don't got to go far. You don't got to go far. Venezuelan opposition leader Edmundo Gonzalez, he was in Latin America, finding his way back home. Is he going to troll this jagabat here? I'm going to troll Maduro. He was in self-exile. Stopped in, checked on one of the heads of state there in Latin America. He was making his way back. Masked men, they tell us, kidnapped his son-in-law, Rafael Tudraz. Kidnapped him in Caracas. You all think Maduro easy? He was dropping off his children to school. And the opposition leader, Edmundo, announced this on social media when he was kidnapped. Yep. Them boys are desperate for power, And I can see this somewhere before. Vesta Joy, Sherma, Eva, Althea. Like I saw this movie somewhere before. This kind of desperation where So I saw it before. I thoughts and prayers for this young man's safe return. Rafael Tudrez, son-in-law of Edmundo Gonzalez, the opposition leader there in Venezuela. Serious? Serious? You know, that's why when I see some folks come out to do politicking, I laugh them. I saw a little, a young lad. Let me be kind to him. He young in the business. He come out singing Nigel Hughes. Saw one headline in, what is this? Is the room of the news. Somebody, can't remember the fellow name, Blast, something like that. Blast, Nigel Hughes. Blast, about these 1,400 Afro-Guyanese that were killed. You remember the troubles on the Jagdio? This guy is about 22. When this thing went down, he must be about 5 years old. And he come out blasting. you know, I understand. Right? When you want to get noticed, I understand. You start punching up. You know, many years ago, I was teaching at a private school. And there was a nun in charge of the school. I was young in the business. A very prestigious private school locally. Nun was in charge. I think she's still in charge. I wouldn't come and I say, oh my Lord. I said, sister, oh, they planted enough. Sister tapped me. She said, Mr. Duncan. She said the best attention you could pay some people is no attention at all. I said, sister, you onto something. You see, when you spirit clear, you pick it up quick. Best attention. You know when people try to get my attention on a daily basis? You gotta earn it. You don't have time for waste. I try to bring the valid, credible information to you folks, and people try to distract you and all kinds of things. You know, I watching them and I remember sister. Ignore them. Praying for the safe return. Man, punch it up. What ups? City Hall. Government want to raise a pay. Government councillors, PP councillors, they want to raise some pay. They're trying to put the staff against the folks who hold the reins of power. Now government have paid the bill. GPL want to pay the bill to City Hall. Freedom Housing called a friend and said, you don't pay no tax. Starve them. Why only now? Region 10, Linden, a born tongue. Linden MTC, main town council. In March of last year. Why only now? I don't know. We got all kinds of bugs in the system, don't we? All kinds of bugs. You see, soon as you start talking with them, you see that? Soon as you start talking interference, the running interference, flap you all. Flap you all. So they want more money now. People pay the bills. People got to pay taxes too. Government got to pay taxes too. See, you all got the money. They want to increase. I am all for it. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Pay people more. But we got to be raking in the money. We got to be raking in the money. Why don't the councillors tell the government to work with City Hall? Sit down with them, these big people in 2025. big people in 2025, and let's work with the council. Let's work with the council. You're always looking for some gotcha moment. I'm always looking there. I got you here, huh? What are you going to do now? Work with the council. Let's move this thing forward. I'm begging you all. I'm begging you all. You all see what's happening in China? Fantastic company. BYD, I think is the name of the company. The national BYD stands for Big Blue. Something like that. Those people manufacturing flying cars. We're still trying to learn how to cross the road. We're still trying to learn how to cross the road. Those people manufacturing, not dreaming up. Manufacturing flying cars. We can't even cross the street. We're still struggling to keep the street clean. Whether we can litter or not. How are we going to move on? How are we going to move on? The world gone to cheaper methods of sugar. We still trying to see if we could bring Duncan sugar. You know, the production to about 10 cents. We still fighting that war. That's the war we're fighting. Father of his mercies. So let us sit down, please. But kids, you know, kids. Let's work together. Commissioner of Police said recently from today, corruption done. You know, we got to legislate some things. Like, people just wake up with ideas. Let people come and stand up for the cash grant. Just wake up with some silly, hear them, scare them ideas. I don't know what the commissioner, the asterisk commissioner, what he drank last night. Don't know what he had. But he said no one should stop a vehicle or request a license without a body camera. Is that the law? What chapter we quote in there? Is that the law, Mr. Commissioner? When the commissioner says something like that, is this regulation? From now on, what the hell? From now on, no one should stop a vehicle or request a license without a body camera. Is that the law? Right. What's the name of the legislation? I can disappoint a lot of my lecturers now. Road traffic, something. Is that it? I mean, some of you are brighter than me. Y'all can pick this something up. Karen Black, Savage Stitch, Shalon Altia, Eva Mattis, Annette Cummins, Ankit, Claudine, Rose Duqua. Is that the law? Pinky Annette. Is that it? Or the commissioner has, who was the American president that says, well, when the president says it, it becomes law. He resigned in disgrace. Nixon, the Watergate scandal. When the president says it, it becomes law. From now on, no one should. From now on, I was coming back into the city this afternoon. When did they open Heroes Highway? I always thought concrete, it just came to me, was supposed to be superior to asphalt. And that was my understanding. Concrete roads last longer. I see them refurbishing the concrete road with asphalt. 2 huge sand trucks facing in the oncoming traffic, blocking the road. Major traffic jam on Heroes Highway. That road was open just simulated waves. The more time goes by, the road gets like this. You try to go over a bridge, 80 miles an hour, 60 miles, 80 miles, Heroes Highway, you could end up on one of the lampposts. A bounce. Next thing you know, you hold on for dear life. dear life. You know, when I saw this girl here, a lot of things come to mind. You know, she's not a girl, but when I glance at, you know, you get somebody like in peripheral, and like I saw some things I've been seeing on social media, fun and child and girl and this country is wild west, you know. Why not fun? If a man could one day come out and say, Modi, that's the treat children. That's the kind of politics we got. No other country. A man could get 3 children in the basement. 3 children in the basement hiding. Then one day, you get visitors, you say, hey, ta-da, surprise, 3 children. Is that what she paid the lady? Surprise. Here fun, children, girl, house, GDF, plane. Number of words I see on social media. Number of words. The GPHC, Public Hospital Corporation, Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation says pneumonia was the leading cause of children's admission to the hospital in 2024. Pneumonia. Who knew? You know, I wish when it was happening and they saw the uptick, you would have said to parents, be cautious, parents. Safeguards, bap. I wish that had obtained. But that's not how things went. Nope. That is not how things went. Wish it was, but now things went. Pneumonia in cause of children admission to the GPHC last year. UGE celebrating one of their own from the registry. Andrew Thom received a reputable overseas award quite recently. Works for the registry department, and the award is the Outstanding Justice Award. And this is at the American Model United Nations. Happy to see our young people moving in positive directions. Congratulations, Mr. Thom, and keep on keeping on. Please and thank you. Folks, what's happening in education? Huh? What's going on? What's going down? Somebody talk to me, man. What's going on? Huh? Lucy, Avril, Night Burton, Esther Savage, Cheryl, Mercy, Andrew Griffith, Don, Dougie. What's going on? Folks, I was in my born town today in Linden, Region 10. There's a lot of things happening there that should not be happening. A lot of things. And though we can focus on a plethora of them, tonight, guys, I want to really zero in on what's happening in the education sector in Region 10. It's the second term, consecutive term, the school term has begun, and a lot of schools in Linden have had delayed openings. Several schools, including the Mackenzie High School, the Wisberg Secondary School, they have had delayed openings by a week for emergency work, causing a lot of confusion among students and parents. Today, we spoke with the Mayor of Linden, Sharma Solomon. We spoke with Member of Parliament from Linden, Devin Sears. We also spoke to the Regional Vice Chairman, Mark Goring, as well. And they've all criticized the government's lack of planning, questioning why the repairs weren't completed during the Christmas break. I mean, like, duh, come on, government. Parents have been voicing their concerns in social media over the impact on the Caribbean Secondary Examination Certificate, or CSEC, the preparations for those exams. What has the ministry been doing? Folks, as I said, we spoke to the Mayor of Linden, Sharma Solomon, and he was quite peeved about this delay opening for the schools. He talked about how these closures have disrupted the preparation of the student for these very exams, you know, and he's talked also about the incomplete and delayed projects broadly in the mining tongue. He talked also about several large infrastructural projects that have begun since the last administration, and if we believe in continuity of government, should have been completed and completed long now. That has not been the focus of this government, you know. And he also underscored the poor administrative work, poor administrative planning by the administration, by the government. Take a look at some of what the mayor told me today.
Sherod, as I would always do, say thank you for giving us the opportunity to be able to speak not only to your audience, but to the world. As for those who know, Linden is still with the one TV station policy, and also we are still being denied access to equal use of state media. So I'm always grateful and thankful when we are given this opportunity to respect one of our fundamental right to access information unimpeded and uninterrupted to our public. And let me just say, it is for reasons like these that the elected officials not being given the opportunity to say to the public in aggregating from them the things that are affecting them, things such as schools, education in general, and how we see the delivery of education in the region, and especially in the town of Linden, where I'm the mayor. It is of much concern, and I think over the past now academic school term of this year that we recently had, we see several schools not reopening. We see even the continuation of institutions that should have been completed by now, such as the dorms in the student hostel in Amelia's ward, not completed, displacing almost 80 students, 80 children who are coming from far locations across
That same
Region
dorm where we
10.
saw the roof off?
The same dorm to
Still
date,
incomplete?
to date. So to think that the level of preparation into this particular situation, where you had during the strike of the teachers, you had the August holiday period, and to date, even an entire school term, and the dorm is still to be completed.
Mr. Mayor, last summer, 2024, you and I sat on the preface of that dorm, talking about the issue. That dorm is still incomplete?
Very far from to the accommodation of students, no. And we're in a new academic school term, or in fact, we're a new term, which represents now children preparing for their final term examinations. And those children from as far as Ituni and Kokwani, and as far from those areas across 4758 and the communities up in the Demerara River, are yet to have those dorms available so that they can have accommodations. Not only those dorms, Sherod, for those who can remember, the issue of the Bami Amelia's Ward Primary School remains a contentious issue, as it is a matter that is incompleted, almost 2 years ongoing, which is at the displacement of 800 pupils that are unable in that very large constituency to be able to access proper primary education. So people are leaving as far as a mile away from Bamia to get down into Amelia's Ward, a mile away or two to get to Regma Primary School. And those are the challenges that are still there for education in this region, in this town of Linden. And those are very concerning issues that I know recently we had the visit by the president, and I thought that these are some of the things pressing that the public are demanding to know and get answers. We heard the vice president said, for example, that the Bamia Primary School is completed. Not maybe the president could have clarified that for us yesterday, so that those 800 pupils and their families who are spending almost $12,000 a month in transportation to get their children to Amelia's Ward Primary, to Regma Primary, they've had some answers. Those are things that are also of concern that this town and the residents of the town are very concerned about, and especially the delivery of education. We have the multilateral, the Wisma Christianborg Secondary School. We have the Wisborg Secondary School. We have the Mackenzie High School. We have several schools. As term Christmas ended, now we don't have them reopening for reasons of administrative issues that would have been brought to the attention of the Department of Education, to the Ministry of Education. We had the CEO who came to Linden and had an opportunity to look at some of these matters. And to date, these institutions who should be preparing for CXC and preparing for grade 6 exams are yet to be reopened.
Wow, that's interesting. And we hear of all this profound love and attention being placed on Linden, as I was telling some other folks earlier. And you don't see this in other parts of the country. This amount of infractions in the educational system, for one, and a lot of unfinished projects. I was passing one of the stadiums coming in, the new bridge, unfinished. A lot of unfinished to start to show like the care, and a lot of stuff lingering since the last local government elections.
No, it's very odd that you mention those projects. And why it's odd? Because by now, those projects that came under the concept of the coalition government should have been completed. Those transformational programs that started under the last administration, so that we can get to new programs by now and bring more development to the region. What in essence the tongue is faced with would be retarded development that would have started and should have been completed for some time now, so that we can get to new advancement of how do we expand the different sectors, how do we bring development to the different areas that we know need the expansion at the moment. But for now, we cannot speak to those expansion. We are moving massive amount of aggregates out of this tongue and this region, but we don't have the completed infrastructure of the Linden to Mabura Road. We don't have the completed infrastructure of the Wisma to Mackenzie Bridge. We don't have the completed infrastructure of the Linden to Suzdijk Highway, which should have been completed because all of these projects were conceptualized under the coalition government and should have been so advanced, including the synthetic track at Bayrock, so advanced that by now we should be in the new phase of new programs and new development. So it's very difficult when you see the president repeatedly come into the community, and instead of bringing new development, new transformational ideas, continue to repeat those ideas from the past that are incompleted and have not said to the tongue or the people of this tongue what new programs, projects are being worked on outside of those existing ideas that should have been completed almost 2 years ago. Every one of the programs that the government has so far spoken about in this tongue, welcoming they are as they were programs long before, we want to see them completed so that we can move to new programs and projects so that we can start to advance the tongue of Linden.
And there you have it, folks, the mayor of Linden outlining those very, very important issues for us there. Why don't you guys share the live and smash that emoji button for us? Valid, credible information all the way. Now let us turn our attention to the regional vice chair, Mark Gorin. He has responsibility for the sub-region, even though he gives an eye to, for the sub-region. This is Kokwani, this is Aichuni, this is Hururi, Laudersville. You name the communities there, and he is well loved and respected in this area. And he talked to us today about poor planning in the execution of these repairs to the schools. He talked also about these horrific delays that are really going to set our kids back, and the rush works that are now on. You guys had a long time PPP. You see, when Irfan go on the ground, Irfan don't talk these things. You heard the mayor there. He don't talk these things. And Vice Chair Mark Goring also talked about the impact that this is going to have on teachers and students alike. Teachers and students alike, because if this goes into overtime, the students get back their time in this after the Easter term, that impacts on how the teachers are going to spend their time as well. And then he talked about some broader issues in the region, like selective tendering and delays in certain documentation. What's the hold up? Selective tendering, delays in documentation. Folks, the regional vice chair, Mark Gorin. Take a look. Take a listen to our conversation.
I will put this clearly as a level of incompetence on the administration, especially from our administrative head. From the start of the year, we would have asked that we have a work plan that is workable, and so that we can put proper plans in place to make sure that we execute these work on a timely manner. Now, budget 2024 would have read, since in January and pass in the first week in February. And we would have seen a rush to get work done at the end of the year. If there is proper planning and our regional executive officer have his officers in line and engineers in line, it means that this work can be properly planned and executed in a timely manner, and especially when school is out. We have Easter holiday for 2.5, almost 3 weeks, no work. We have the July-August holiday, no work. And most time we know, leading up the last 2 weeks to school, there don't be no school normally. And so if there is proper planning in place, this work can be put in place and executed within that time frame. At least 2.5 months you have, like in June, July, and August, so that school can be reopened on a timely manner in September, and also in, as the case now, the December term. Now, I can tell you before I go to the school now, last year, during my visit to the sub-region, you have work going on. I went to Oraima School, specifically the primary school, in the middle of the term, and this is for the teachers at a disadvantage. I saw the teachers taking on all of their teaching aids so that they can facilitate painting in the middle of September, going on to October. And that is putting the children and the teachers at a disadvantage, to know that you would have taken time coming leading on to September to put up all these teaching aids, and then now you have to take them down back so that the incompetent administration could carry out the work that they failed to do in 2.5 months while school was out. Fast forward to the Christmas season, we had 3 weeks, and also leading up to the close of school, where children hardly go to school, so we could put it in squarely at a month that school was practically out, all right, or technically out, and no work was being done. In the case of Wisborg, when the school did not open, the transfer was done since the 22nd of November. And only yesterday, when I visited the school there, well, I just do not an inspection of the school, but a visit to see what is going on. I noticed that they was putting in the transformer yesterday. So hopefully, I believe all is well there. I did not confirm if the lights hook up and it's ready to go. I was trying to get the HM, but she was in a meeting, so I could not have confirmed before this interview if the lights are on, but hopefully tomorrow school should be reopened. In the case of Multi, the same problem. A week before the Christmas holiday, a transformer went down, and so there was no current in the school. Yesterday, a transformer was being put in place, and partially the school, based on the information I got this morning, part of the school was getting light, but not the entire school. I don't know by the end of the day if all will go as well. In the case of Kokwani, I must say, based on the representation that I would have made for Kokwani, and this is a representation from since September 2023, where I visited the sub-region and visited all the school, and I will do that constantly. So it's a recurrent thing about all the different, repairs that needed in this school, especially Kokwani Secondary School. And I believe in time now, Kokwani Secondary School have outgrown that school, and a new building should put in place. I think we put that in the 2025 budget, hoping that it can be approved. I'm not too sure, but I believe it's there. Those recommendations in terms of the auditorium, because currently the auditorium is being used to house about 5 classes, which should not be. The auditorium should all be empty and ready to host strength on any assembly or so, because it's the only space to keep an assembly. And so for the longest while, assembly has been, though the auditorium is being used as a classroom. So there's a reason why I said Kokwani should have a new school, because the auditorium should not be used as a classroom, right? And so based on those recommendations, ceilings, windows, and all these different things that was dilapidated in the school, based on our inclusion, I think money that left back from the Bamiya primary school, the primary school that forever building, we have some money there that left back that had to spend out in last year. So those would have been included in, we call it the inclusion projects. And so those repairs would have been facilitated. Now again, those work start either last week or just before the New Year's week. Those work would have started. Again, I say, we had 3 weeks where those work could have been executed. Even if you said 2 weeks before school closed, you could have taken one with proper planning in the area. You could have made sure that those tenders went out. And I'm pretty sure that they didn't went out. I'm pretty sure that it was selective tendering. We haven't seen the documents come over. Apparently, the documents have been taking quite slow to come to the office so that we can, keep up to date of what is the project that are currently being executed. But nevertheless, We had 3 weeks in this holiday, this Christmas holiday, and at least a week before school closed. You could even say 2 weeks before school closed if you need the additional time to say, well, okay, we'll close school a little early so that we can facilitate these repairs, so that come the 6th of January, we are well prepared for school so that we can start the learning process for the Easter period. Nevertheless, that was not done, and now work is going on. Some pictures were sent to me. The school is in a massive confusion. Some information reached to me early this morning that based on the Facebook post that I would have made for the schools that would not be open, some decision would have been made to get the contractors to work up to this weekend and work only on weekend, which I believe the teachers would have rejected that proposal, because it doesn't make sense for you to have to clean up every Monday to resume classroom when the contractor would have worked the entire weekend. So that would have been totally unfair to the teachers had that plan gone through. Nevertheless, I think good sense prevailed, and I believe that they would have said, let the work finish, and then the children can resume duty classroom and the teachers resume their duties.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back, and share the live for us. Smash the emoji. But we see all you there in the comments. We see all you there. Being attempt to be distracted by some of you. We want to really focus on this issue here, the delayed opening of several schools across Linden and Region 10. Broadly, one of the persons we spoke to on the ground today, a member of parliament from Region 10, Devin Sears, and he talked to us, MP Sears, about the lack of preparation for the school reopening. He also talked to us about the impact on teachers and students, and in particular, he raised some health and safety concern that he has. What's happening there? This seems to be a recurring problem. You heard us talk to the mayor about that. We raised that also with MP Devin Sears. It seems to be like every term it catches us by surprise that school is reopening. There's got to be better planning, better governance and planning broadly. And then, I quizzed them a little bit about what alternatives are there. How are we going to make up for this lost learning? Manik Chan, Minister Manik Chan, with all due respect, how are we going to make up for all of this? And he underscored the urgent need for education focus in Region 10. You see, we're talking the thing, but we ain't walking the thing. We're talking the talk, but we're not walking the talk. MP Devin says.
I want to say Happy New Year to all of you, and may God continue to richly bless your families, and of course, stay safe throughout 2025. Of course, Sherod, it's a terrible time right now in Linden. The reason why I say that is because at the very first week of the new school term, school cannot restart for some of the high schools here in Linden and Region 10. And it's alarming because I believe better preparation needed to be made by the authority in terms of preparing the school for acceptance of students into the new term. And we have been seeing a lot of reports concerning the delays, and we had to do something about it as representatives of the people here in Region 10. Now, we have noted that there are several schools, high schools, that are totally closed until maybe next week or possibly the following week because of emergency repairs. What we're saying is simple. If you have a work schedule in terms of these repairs being done, stick to it and don't let it interfere with the education of our students. Many parents have been reaching out and saying that, hey, my children, they're preparing for CXC and there's no school. So it screams desperation in terms of making sure that things are done in a timely manner. And that's the contention that we have here right now in Region 10. When we look at Mackenzie High School is out because currently there are repainting that is being done and also repairs to the roof because there are some leakages in some parts. We're here right now at Wisberg Secondary School. The challenge here that they've had is the transformer blew up a couple of weeks ago or sometime back, and it was only recently replaced. So now the cleaners, and outside of that, they don't have water, running water, that recently came back. So now the cleaners are trying to clean all the classrooms, wipe down the walls, and hopefully they don't find any snakes in any one of the drawers. So they have to do all of those checks and preparations. The teachers are going to come in tomorrow, which is Wednesday, try to put up back their aids and so forth, and then they're hoping to reopen school this Thursday. In Kokwani, same thing that is happening. You have emergency repair works, repainting, school is out. Hopefully they are going to be finished today, but that is unlikely. And you'll see in the videos and the footages that is going to be presented. And then next week, hopefully, again, there's no guarantees that it's going to be open next week, Monday. And there are other schools like Wismar Christianborg Secondary School. In the case of Wismar Christianborg Secondary School, multi-transformer problem. And again, now they have to make sure that the school is set and ready to accept students, hopefully before the end of the week. Sherod, all these hopefullys, we don't need a government that is giving us hope. We want guarantee. And the PPP administration clearly don't have a plan when it comes to maintaining these institutions. And we're saying, look, it's time to change that.
I think you're absolutely right, because it doesn't seem as though, and you mentioned a lot of planning, because we're right back here. We were here in the August term.
Yes.
Schools were reopened late because of the same kind of issues. What's really happening here? Are they taking their eyes off of the ball?
I believe the education has never been a priority fully for this government. And if it was a priority, it would make sure that the contractors stick to their timeline in terms of delivery. And sometimes it's not even the fault of the contractors, it's when the contracts are awarded and then they're forced to rush. And we have to look at the health of the environment. In our school visits that we've just made, do you have overflowing garbage? And clearly that's garbage from since last term flowing into the new year. We bring it in, we wait into the new year. That's what we're telling the children. And even at Wisborg here, this school needs to be fogged out. They have mosquito infestation, and we know that there's dengue going around, different other diseases as a result of infestations that needs to be addressed. We have overgrown bushes in some of the areas. This area has to stop, Sherod, and rightfully, just like last year during the summer vacation, the schools were not prepared to open in time, and it's the same thing happening, and it will continue to happen until we get the PPP out of government.
Do you get the sense that the kids are going to get back this time, because they're an important stakeholder here? We're heading into Easter. That's a 2-week holiday. Are the kids going to get back this time? They're getting the extra hour during the day. How are they going to make up back for this lost learning? Because that's the important factor here.
Yeah, I'm happy that you mentioned lost learning is super, super important. But I'm going to be honest with you, Sherod. In no additional time, they're not going to take a week from Easter. I mean, the teachers love their vacation, and it's no fault of theirs. But I think what effort should have been made to ensure that, like during COVID, maybe we should have had an alternative for this week, maybe a little bit of online learning or something like that. And maybe some of the schools are doing it, but I doubt whether the majority is. The teachers will have to work overtime to ensure that they make up for this week. But normally, like tradition would have it, some students don't go to school, but you give the students and the parents an excuse for the children to stay home. But we're looking for a progressive year, and we believe that Region 10 definitely needs more keen attention that is paid when it comes to the educational delivery within our classrooms.
Yeah, folks, if fed up with the please. Fed up with the PPP. Fed up with them. Fed up. That's what's happening in education in Region 10. Before I let you go, I'm gonna give you a little icing on the cake. Ensuring that you get your money's worth. Oh yeah, y'all don't pay nothing. It's free. It's free. It's free information. We even got a subvention. Have we given more information than NCN, the room with the news, DPI, all them put together? Vincent Alexander said over the weekend on Nation Watch, lethargy, and inertia, is that a word? Gripping GECOM. The whole thing. The closer, folks, as we wrap up. The closer.
Commission on the Guyana Elections Commission, Vincent Alexander, contends that the Guyana Elections Commission has adopted a tardy and lethargic approach to matters with which it is confronted.
We have been in recess for the Yuletide season. In my humble opinion, which I expressed at the level of the commission, is that there is so much to be done that we ought not to have gone into recess. That we should have observed the national holidays, but apart from those national holidays, we should have worked through the season to get things done.
He said that one of the outstanding decisions is on biometrics.
A decision on introducing digital registration at the offices of GECOM and introduction of using biometric digital identification at the place of phone. We spent approximately 2 months discussing this matter. And in those discussions, there was a clear divide.
He said that the commissions nominated by the opposition gave very good reasons for the introduction of biometrics.
And I dare say that the commissioners nominated by the opposition gave very good reason why biometrics should be introduced. The other commissioners, well, some of them hardly spoke on the matter. And he who spoke could give no real sound and objective reasons.
Alexander said that the GECOM chairperson isn't an active participant in these discussions.
Unfortunately, when she delivered her position, many of the issues which were argued were not addressed in her response. They were not addressed. And she took the position that, well, we are not quite there in terms of the level of information to make a decision. So she didn't come and say, well, I don't support it, but certainly did not lend to the progression of the issue by saying that we're not quite ready for this.
He said that the chairperson has asked for time to review her decision. That review should have been made known today, Tuesday. But he fears that the lethargy could result in the commission contending that time wouldn't permit the introduction of biometrics. Of interest is the fact that the commissioners appointed by the government present themselves as the commissioners representing the government rather than as constitutional officers.
Yep. There you have it, folks. There you have it. Can I just go? Follow Justin Trudeau, follow Keith Rowley, Canadian Prime Minister, Trinidad Prime Minister, respectively, and just go. If you're not helping, it's part of the problem. Just go. Pack your bags, go. God damn it. That's going to do it for us, folks. Thank you guys so much spending this time with us. Hundreds of you watching us on the Facebook, hundreds of you watching us on the Tube. Share the live for us. Those of you coming back to watch our broadcast, share as well. Partner with us. Help to keep us going. That's our time, folks. And that's our program. Thank you guys so much. It means a lot to us. Thank you guys so very, very much. From the bottom of we heart in 2025. Lester, Evan, Everett, Mark, Yolanda, Audrey, Erwin, Ray, Donna, Asquith. Good to have all of you on the live. Lester and Erwin. Gloria Pod. Good to have you there, folks. Auntie Sandra, thank you guys so much. That's our time. And that's our program. We're going to see you guys back here on the next one. Stay safe. Valid, credible information. Have a great